Right. So growing up dark skinned in the early 2000s was equivalent to being a black person in the early 1900s. It was a racism festival everywhere you turned, right? So the first canon event that I went through that opened my eyes to this was watching movies in class at a young age. Now, I know most people thought, oh, well, it's movie day. We don't have to do work. We can kick back, watch a movie, watch the Magic School Bus, whatever, right? But for me, it was a little bit different, right? So every time the teacher rolled in that VHS card with the box TV on that mug, I knew my time was coming as soon as she turned that light off. As soon as she turned that light off, every kid instantly snapped their necks back in my direction and completely cursed my ears with these phrases. Where did Bray go? Or people would say, Bray, smile. Or people would say, I look like a locked character. Like, how do I look like a locked character? If you've ever played a video game and you've seen a locked character, it is just pitch black. They don't have eyes, they don't have teeth, they don't have hair. It's just a silhouette of a black figure. Like, I knew instantly when the teacher said, oh, tomorrow's movie day. I instantly knew I was going to tell my mom I had some type of flu or something was going on. I had to come up with an excuse not to get hit with the strays. I mean, I'm chilling, minding my business. Those kids, every chance they got to say some racist shit, it started flying at me instantly. Getting girls was completely impossible. Like, I mean, this was mission impossible 100%. It was like trying to beat Dark Souls in one try without dying. Like, it's possible, but 99% of people are not tolerating this. I remember I walked up to a girl. She was literally darker than me. She was 2 shades darker than me. And she said, nuh-uh, you is too dark for me. I was so confused. I was more confused than when Samuel L. Jackson saw Django, Jamie Foxx riding on a horse. I didn't know what to say. Like, it was literally a eye-opening event because I was thinking, well, yeah, the light-skinned girls, the brown-skinned girls, they're not going to mess with me. They want the light-skinned boy. Heck, some of them were milk women. They even wanted the white man. But whenever I walked up to them, it was just on sight. They looked at me like I had dirt on my body. I remember contemplating becoming a milkman. Like, I was like, it's the only route. Like, I'm sorry, Dr. Umar, but this is the only route because I was getting put on blast by my own people. I couldn't believe it. Up until 2016, 2017, that's when being dark skinned was cool. But before that, you were getting no hoes, bro. You had no motion when it came to the females. You had to either act super hard as a dark skinned guy, like you had to be a street dude, you had to talk like this little baby, you either had to be gangster with it, or they were to call you white. Like, if you didn't fit into the black stereotypes like me. I was introverted. I enjoyed playing SmackDown vs. Raw on the PlayStation 2 and the PSP. I did not know anything about Jordans. I didn't know anything about streetwear. Only thing I did that fit into the stereotype was I hooped. I love hooping. That was my thing. But I remember I was at the lunch table with some of the kids that I would hoop with at recess. And we were all just talking about what we did, like when we were at home, when we weren't hooping or at school, like what was our hobbies. I remember I looked at these YNs and I told them, I was like, yeah, for real, I'll just be chilling. I'll be playing SmackDown versus Raw, or I'll play Mario Kart, or I'll watch anime, or I said something along the lines of that, right? You would have thought that I told them that I attend Klans meeting in my free time. Like, you would have thought I was a Klansman. The way that they reacted to me, they were like, huh? You like doing what? Like, you would have thought I told them I like picking my nose and eating the boogers. Like, you would have thought it would have been something blasphemous, and I was just telling my hobbies. Needless to say, after that day, those kids never really messed with me anymore outside of hooping. And I started noticing they started picking me last when they started picking teams. I found it really weird. But yeah, like, they expect you to be like a certain type of way like me. I was more introverted. I was more to myself. They looked at me like I was crazy. Why don't you talk? And I remember, like, if you talk properly, they said, oh, he think he's white. If you didn't dress in Jordans, oh, he thinks he's white. Anything that went against the black stereotypes, he think he's white. You might as well have been a chocolate dipped vanilla cone at that point. Next experience, getting used as a comparison to others. Okay, so being dark skinned when I was a kid instantly meant you became a black person color wheel. Like, yes, it worked the same if you're light skinned, but it wasn't as harsh. Like, I remember whenever we would get a new black student, if he was darker, they would be like, oh, is he as dark as Bray? People like, hell nah, he ain't dark as Bray. You crazy? I'm like, what? Like, why am I being used as an example of how dark someone is? I remember, like, we started classifying how dark you were. My elementary school was racist as hell. I'm just realizing this. Like, yes, I grew up in the South, but this was like abnormally racist. But we would use times to classify how dark you were. So I remember if you were light skinned, they would say you're like 2 to 3 p.m. You were brown skinned, you might be like 3 to 5 or 3 to 6 or whatever p.m. You're dark skinned, you instantly do an anime time skip to 12 a.m. Like, how am I midnight black? This one kid got mad and said I was so black that I was purple. How are you so black that you're purple, bro? How does that even work? Like, I literally remember this guy saying, yo, no lie, you're darker than an unplugged TV. That is pitch black. That is a black hole, bro. It's over for you. Hearing me say all of this back is actually kind of crazy. Like, now that I'm thinking about it, I made notes on my phone, but actually saying this to you guys sounds even crazier than when I was typing this. A kid tried to rub my skin off with a paper towel. Now, I know you guys are looking at me crazy right now. I know you're like, no, there's no way he's lying. But I'll give you the story. So I remember when I was maybe like 7 or 8. I was between 2nd and 3rd grade. I went to the bathroom. This kid walks in. Mind you, this is not a black kid. This isn't a white kid. Black kid comes in the bathroom, like light brown skin guy. He's just staring at me. So I instantly default to, oh, he wants to slap box. So I get into my stance. I'm ready to fry his jaws. No diddy, all right? This kid goes up to the sink, grabs a paper towel, walks up to me and starts trying to rub the level of blackness off of my skin. Bro tries to Michael Jackson me with a paper towel. Like, I was in disbelief. I didn't know whether should I slam little bro or should I move schools. Like, I really wanted to transfer. Now that I think about it, I can't go into a public bathroom without thinking about this experience. Every time I go into a public bathroom, I see little bro's face. And the little bro, if you're watching this, you owe me a fade. I'm not going to lie. But those were my experiences growing up dark skinned in the early 2000s. If any of you guys experience this, I doubt you'll experience the paper towel story. But if you experience anything like this, leave a comment below and let me know what you thought. That's it for this one, man. Peace out.